The courtroom was already deciding her fate when a tired janitor in a faded blue uniform stood up from the back row, his hands shaking, his heart pounding louder than the gavel, and declared that he would not let her stand alone. Sunlight streamed through the tall glass windows of the courthouse, falling across polished wooden benches and cold marble floors, as one of the richest women in the country sat abandoned at the defense table, her lawyer gone, her power useless, and her future hanging by a thread. That single moment, in broad daylight, when a man no one noticed chose courage over fear, would change both of their lives forever. Before this story unfolds any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that heroes can come from the most unexpected places, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel Grandma's Book. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The billionaire's name was Alara Whitcomb, a woman known across financial headlines for building an empire of clean energy and urban renewal, yet on this bright morning she looked smaller than the rumors that once surrounded her. Her tailored suit felt heavy on her shoulders, her hands rested motionless on the table, and her eyes stared straight ahead as accusations of fraud echoed through the room. The scandal had erupted suddenly, and though she claimed innocence, the pressure was relentless. Investors fled, board members resigned, and by the time the trial began, even her high-priced legal team quietly withdrew, citing conflicts and risks they no longer wished to carry. When the judge asked if the defense was ready, there was only silence. Alara felt the crushing realization that money could buy many things, but not loyalty when fear took over. Watching all of this from the back of the courtroom was Mateo Alvarez, a janitor assigned to clean the courthouse during the day shift. He had been mopping the hallway earlier, sunlight warming the corridor as people rushed past him without a glance. Mateo was a single father, worn down by years of night shifts and quiet sacrifices, carrying grief from a past where he had once dreamed of becoming a lawyer himself. Life had forced him to abandon school after his father's death, replacing textbooks with cleaning carts, but his love for law never faded. During breaks, he read old case files and listened to hearings whenever he could, absorbing the rhythm of justice from the shadows. Mateo knew Alara in a way no one else in the room did. Years earlier, when his daughter had fallen seriously ill, it was Alara's foundation that quietly paid for the treatment without cameras or press releases. She never knew his name, and he never expected gratitude, but that act had saved his child's life. As he watched her now, alone under the harsh light of accusation, something inside him refused to stay silent. He could feel the eyes of the courtroom turn toward him as he stepped forward, the mop bucket still behind him, his uniform marking him as someone who did not belong. Yet he belonged to the truth he believed in. What followed was not brilliance polished by elite education, but raw sincerity and relentless effort. Mateo did not pretend to be a seasoned attorney. Instead, he asked the court for permission to speak, explaining his background, his studies, and his belief that Alara deserved a defense rooted in facts rather than fear. The judge hesitated, the room murmured, but the absence of any other advocate forced an unusual decision. Mateo was allowed limited representation under supervision, a gamble taken in the clear light of day, witnessed by reporters who barely hid their skepticism. The days that followed were exhausting and transformative. Mateo worked mornings cleaning offices flooded with sunlight, afternoons poring over documents, and nights preparing arguments at his small kitchen table while his daughter slept nearby. He uncovered inconsistencies others had ignored, traced forged signatures, and revealed how trusted executives had manipulated accounts behind Alara's back. Each revelation shifted the atmosphere in the courtroom, and slowly, doubt crept into the prosecution's narrative. Alara watched this man, who had once cleaned the floors beneath her shoes, stand tall and steady, driven not by money but by gratitude and principle. When the verdict finally came, daylight filled the room again, brighter than before. Alara was cleared of all charges, her name restored, and the real culprits exposed. Tears streamed freely as years of tension dissolved in a single moment. Mateo felt his knees weaken, not from victory, but from relief that justice had not failed this time. The applause that followed was not just for Alara, but for the idea that integrity could rise from anywhere. In the aftermath, Alara rebuilt her company with transparency and humility, and Mateo's life changed forever. Scholarships were offered, opportunities opened, but more importantly, his story inspired thousands who had believed their voices were too small to matter. Even as fame knocked on his door, Mateo returned to the courthouse one last time, walking through the sunlit halls, grateful for the place where his quiet courage had finally been heard. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you that goodness still exists in ordinary people, please take a moment now to like the video, share it, and subscribe to Grandma's Book. Your engagement helps spread stories that heal and inspire.